Before the jury can consider its verdict in the case of the Queen against Helen Lord, they will hear summing up speeches from counsel and the judge. Mr. Charles Lotterby is about to sum up the case for the prosecution.
You may sum up now, Mr. Lotterby.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the only real issue in this case is Miss Lord's state of mind when she struck Constable Forbush with that cold chisel. The defense has tried to show that she was in what has been described as a state of automatism. And I protested that such a state is not known to medical science, and that in any case the actions of both Miss Lord herself and the doctor who claims to have observed this state in her are hardly consonant with such a state. My learned friend has been at some pains to introduce into evidence the letter from the Chief Constable's office to Mrs. Eunice Bentley. Now, even if this was seen by Miss Lord, and to some extent at least drove her to her act of violence, it must be appreciated, and I cannot emphasize this too much, that provocation is no defense in a charge of this sort. We have heard that Miss Lord believed that the police were responsible for her dismissal, and that she, and I quote, meant to deal with them. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, she dealt with them. She almost caused the death of an innocent police constable who was going out of his way to be helpful to her. I submit, ladies and gentlemen, that you have no course but to find Helen Lord guilty of both charges against her.
My learned friend is, of course, correct to suggest that Miss Lord's state of mind at the time of the attack on Constable Forbush is the only real issue in the case, ladies and gentlemen. But what he refuses to accept is that Miss Lord, a woman with a long history of nervous complaints, was driven by events into a condition in which she did not know what she was doing anymore. A condition which our own medical consultant has rightly described as a state of automatism. Now, it was, throughout this trial, most important that the letter from the Detective Chief Superintendent, Brotherton, should be introduced, and that you should know its contents, ladies and gentlemen, for this, more than anything else, explains the extreme state of mind into which Helen Lord was driven. Now, at Calderley Police Station, she was told that Detective Superintendent Brotherton was not in fact stationed there. According to Constable Forbush, she could not seem to get it through her head. No matter what was said to her, she continued to demand to see him. Not a normal state of mind, surely. Certainly not one calculatedly seeking revenge on the police at large. A wild, imprecise threat of 2 days before had led to this sick, confused action. Yes, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Miss Lord is a sick woman. And might not we all be, after a year of such apparent persecution, constantly denied one of the basic human rights, the right to work. It is ridiculous to presume that this woman should be sent to prison. What she needs, ladies and gentlemen, is psychiatric help. And for this reason, you dare not find her guilty as charged.
Members of the jury, you will note that the first count charges wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. With intent. The second count charges assault on the constable. It does not allege any specific intent, but it must nevertheless be proved that the accused struck him a deliberate blow. That is, knowing that she was striking him. Now, you have heard it alleged that automatism is a state in which a person's mind does not accompany her actions. The classic case is that of a sleepwalker who doesn't know that she's walking. She's in a sort of trance. Now, what was Miss Lord's mental state at the time when she struck the constable? That's what you have to concentrate on. Provocation, I must add, is no defense at all in this case. Now, will you please retire and consider your verdict?
Rise, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you considered your verdicts?
We have.
And are they the verdicts of you all?
They are.
On the first count of wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, do you find the accused, Helen Lord, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
And on the second count of assaulting the constable in the execution of his duty, do you find the accused, Helen Lord, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty. If I may, Your Honour, the jury ask that a recommendation be made that steps are taken to see that the accused has suitable medical treatment.
Well, I can't make an order as to that. Let the accused be discharged. Thank you, members of the jury, for your assistance in this case. You are now free to go.
Court will rise.